We're out of the playoffs now, Oxford fans. Question is, will we get back in them? Hello everybody, it's Ian here once again from OUFC Fan View for another review of this Oxford United season. Today, it's never fun when we go there, but Oxford faced an away trip against Bristol Rovers. Coming off the back of what was, in my opinion, a very poor result and display in the 1-0 defeat to Barnsley. You can see my review of that in the top corner. Oxford travelled away to Bristol Rovers, not normally a place we do very well at, and having also been spanked by their neighbours Bristol City earlier on in the season in the League Cup. It was one I was dreading and not looking forward to, and my fears were confirmed because Oxford United put in a real stinker of a first half performance, slightly better in the second half, but overall nowhere near good enough, and it is the Gas who run out 3-1 winners. Congratulations, Bristol Rovers fans, you've done us again. Fully deserved victory, I would say, on your behalf, and it ended Bristol Rovers 3, Oxford United 1. And as the games tick by and the weeks tick by, this promotion dream seems to start to slip away, but we will break down all of it. I'll go over the team news, I'll do a match review, and I'll give my final thoughts for both sides at the end of the video. Please feel free to jump to any part of the video because I do put timestamps down below, but if you do that, then please hit the like button because that does help me out so much, and if you do like the content, consider subscribing. So let's have a look at this Oxford United lineup. Two expected changes. Greg Lee and Stefan Negru, who returns from injury, are both in the 11. They replace Sam Long and Liam Bennett, who both got injured in that defeat against Barnsley. But maybe a surprise one is Marcus McGuane is on the bench. Josh McEachran is in place over him. It's a big game for McEachran. He's not really impressed since coming to Oxford United this season, but Marcus McGuane, in my opinion, did need that rest. He has been a bit off the boil in the last couple of games. Gatlin O'Donkor got a return to the bench, but there's still no Billy Bodin, still no Josh Murphy, and still no Will Goodwin. Will it be a case that Will Goodwin is just a couple of weeks away from fitness for the next couple of months? Let's have a look at Bristol Rovers, and it's been an inconsistent season for Rovers, to say the least, and they started the day in 13th place. A lot of change has happened since the last time the two sides met. A very bad-tempered game at the Kassam Stadium. Joey Barton is no longer the manager, which is a real shame because I thought he's such a lovely bloke, but it is Matt Taylor who is the new gaffer, and much like Des Buckingham, he has struggled to find consistency, and largely due to injuries. The Gas had lost their last 4 in League One, including a 1-0 defeat to Exeter last time out, which meant Matt Taylor has made a host of changes for this game. Starting in goal, that was a good move, changing the goalie. Bit of spoilers for the game there, but Jed Ward comes in for the much maligned Matthew Cox, and key players have also returned like Chris Martin, James Wilson and George Friend, so it's a much stronger 11 for Bristol Rovers. And their new signing, who they signed yesterday, is not injured and he's fit to play and start. Camille Conte comes into the midfield, but there is no Aaron Collins for Bristol Rovers, which is a bit of a surprise. Let's get into this disaster of a first half for Oxford United. Oxford's 10 minutes of the game, nothing really happened. The only thing was when Oxford got the ball, they did try to go quite direct, not that they were really creating any chances for it, but it was Rovers who took the lead seemingly from their first shot on goal and their first attack in this game. Hunt gets the ball for Bristol Rovers. I would say he's not even halfway inside the Oxford half, and he's wide on the Oxford left, Bristol Rovers right, and he just swings across into the area. It's between Brown and it's between Moore, and it's Thomas who just wins a flick on. Negru a bit asleep at the back post, and Martin gets the drop on him. Gets to quite a tight angle though, but he somehow finishes it through Cumming into the back of the net. Got to be question marks about the defence and the keeper on that one. Just all seem to be stood there like statues. And how has that ball gone through Cumming? Will we get a response from Oxford United? Well, the response was we're picking the ball out from the back of the net again. 21 minutes on the clock and it's 2-0 to Bristol Rovers. Are Oxford bothered today, lads? Can anybody be bothered to make a tackle? Brannigan seemingly can't be asked to make a tackle in the middle. Bobby Thomas gets the ball. He's got McEachran around him. He's got Rodriguez around him. None of them seem to be bothered to tackle him. So he just thought, so I might as well shoot. It's not the greatest of shot, but of course, it just finds the bottom corner of the net. Cumming, again, any chance of making making a save on that one. Oxford, shocking start, 2-0 down. And you had to wait for 37 minutes on the clock for Oxford actually had a shot on goal. Ward was seemingly supposed to be a nervy young keeper, but he did not show that today. And as I already spoiled it earlier on, he had a stormer of a game, but we didn't really put him under any pressure. But for the first time, Brannigan did from a corner, but he did very well. But he cleared the ball to the edge of the box. It was a stinging effort from Goodrum, which just whistled over the bar. Slightly better from Oxford. At least we had a shot. But just 4 minutes later, from Rovers' first corner, they very much nearly did the same thing. And it's Evans who put good whip on the ball, and Cummings had to punch it over for a corner. Not much really happened in this game. Just Bristol Rovers played with a little bit more intensity than Oxford United. I don't really think they had too many other shots other than the two that went in. But Oxford was so bad. They were dreadful in this first half. As we got to half-time, 2 goals for Bristol Rovers were very, very avoidable. But what makes it worse is there's no clear plan of how Oxford are going to get back into this game. So slow in possession, and players just not willing to take risks on the ball or get up to try and support Harris when he is able to hold the ball up, or when a wide player's got the ball. They're so isolated. Bristol Rovers were in bad form going into this game, and it's been a walk in the park for them. Des Buckingham had to make changes at half-time, and he did make one. Negru made way for Tyler Bure, who came on, and that change could not come soon enough, and he did make a difference to Oxford United in this second half. Much better from Oxford, and it was Bure's intent that kind of woke the team up a little bit, so actually willing to get the ball and try and make something happen. And Oxford actually just started to pass the ball with more pace. We've seen this so many times. When Oxford click it into gear, we are a very good side to watch, and we started to do that a little bit more. Goodrum got the ball wide on the right-hand side, got it into Rodriguez. He jinked his way into the area and just delayed the shot a little bit too long, and it was an easy save for Ward to make. Bristol Rovers started to sit a little bit deeper now, and Oxford were getting more and more of the ball, but still struggling to create too many chances. But on 57 minutes, Oxford did get back into this game. The bit of luck that we needed, a break led by Cameron Brannigan, got the ball out to Goodrum, who gave it back to Brannigan about 25 yards out. He chanced his arm, tried a shot, massive deflection off Mark Harris. My goodness, how his luck has turned, and it goes into the back of the net. Oxford needed that luck back in the game at 2-1. But I've got to give credit to Bristol Rovers from there, because Oxford just couldn't capitalise on that momentum. They just couldn't get that sustained pressure pretty much after they scored that second goal, and Rovers started to get more and more of a grip of the second half, and it started to become more and more of an even contest. I've got to say, Tara Bure had an amazing run in this second half. He got the ball on the left-hand side, and he must have travelled with it 50, 60 yards, beat 2 or 3 players. He was just getting to the edge of the box, and it was a fantastic recovery tackle, which just stopped him from getting a shot away. But only 2 minutes later, Rovers got that decisive goal. Oxford just did not clear a ball well from a corner, and the Rovers just kept the pressure on. Oxford not really set. Finley got a shooting chance from the edge of the box. It's a bobbling shot, and Jammie Cumming, for me, has got to do better again. He's palmed the ball away, but it's gone too central, and Oxford defence, once again, not quickest to the second ball. It's Harvey Vale, credit to him, quickest to the ball, slots it home coolly. The 2-goal advantage restored for Bristol Rovers, and that just felt game over. But Oxford did at least keep going until the end. They kept trying to get back into the game. Not for the first time. It was Cameron Brannigan who looked the most likely to score for Oxford United, and he forced Ward into a fine save, tipping the ball over from one of those trademark Brannigan drives from the edge of the box. And then another fine save from Ward came just from that corner where Greg Lee got a free header. It was a good header by Lee, but well saved by Ward. And then at the end of the game, save of the day, probably play of the day, Ward takes the man of the match award, and with an absolutely magnificent save right at the end of the game. It's a counter-attack from Oxford United. Once again, Brannigan pulling the strings. He plays a lovely ball to Rodriguez, who arrives on it first time on the edge of the box, takes a shot. It's a very good effort, low effort from Rodriguez, but somehow Ward gets down, one-handed save, pushes it round the post. And so it ends 3-1 to Bristol Rovers, and once again, congratulations to you Bristol Rovers fans out there. Please feel free to flood those comments with as many derogatory comments as you like, because you deserve the victory today. Just annoying that Oxford United back-to-back defeats for the first time, maybe this season, certainly under Des Buckingham, but you feel this one was avoidable if only we bothered to turn up in the first half. And that brings me to my final thoughts, and I'll start with the home side, Bristol Rovers, and my goodness, you needed that result today. I felt that there were some nerves around, but Oxford, you settled them early with those 2 goals, and there were some nerves around at the start of the second half, but fair play to Taylor and to the team. He made changes, he made tweaks, and you certainly wrestled the advantage away from Oxford in that second half and ran out, I would say, deserved winners overall. I would say I wouldn't say it was an amazing performance. I wouldn't say I can see where you're really going to hurt sides too much. I would say it was workmanlike more than anything else, but not for the first time this season. I'm sure you're looking at winning a game after being on a bad run and thinking, can this start a bit of momentum now? Can we do what like Northampton or Leyton Orient have done and string a few wins together and start to challenge for those playoff places? With players coming back and hopefully some new signings, maybe you might be able to do that. And I've got to say, what a beast of a player Conte looks in the middle. He's a really strong brick wall of a player. Didn't look out of touch, didn't look out of place, making the step up to League One, looked commanding in midfield. And my goodness, Jed Ward, what a game in goal for him. A fantastic game. It was a debut game for him, I think it was, in goal, but he made a string of fine saves today, kept Rovers in it, and you got the win that you very much needed to get your season back on track. Let me know what your thoughts were on the game. Let me know your thoughts on what's going to happen now for the rest of the season. Who's going to come? Who players to come back that might improve the side, and what changes, what transfers and what signings you might expect to come in until that window slams shut. And that brings me on to Oxford United. My goodness, Oxford had a chance to win me over today. I was very annoyed after that defeat to Barnsley. I thought we lost that game in a very tepid fashion, and we had a chance to put that right today, and we didn't even come close, in my opinion. A little bit of a spirited comeback in the second half should not paper over how poor and unacceptable that first half was. We were all over the place. Poor defensively, they just looked like they couldn't be bothered today. Jammie Cumming had a shocker in goal. Midfield just looked like all they were interested in doing is doing the backwards and sideways passes. No effort, no enthusiasm, and not surprisingly, we found ourselves 2-0 down and booed off at half time. I have to say, I thought Josh McEachran did an okay in the second half. First half, you're wondering, why is this guy playing ahead of Ossian Smith? Ossian Smith done all right playing in defence. Could we not have given him a go today in midfield? He could not have done worse than McEachran did in that first half. So slow and so ponderous. He has regressed so much in the last couple of years. I don't think he deserves to be starting games for Oxford United. Let me know your thoughts on that one. And it just leaves me thinking, what were the tactics and what were the game plan going into this game? If you look at that Bristol Rovers side and compare it to the Oxford one, that's another team that you would say have not got an abundance of pace. They're not got like wingers that are going to get down there and cause you problems, but they just had more intensity in their play in the first half. They knew they could get the ball up to their front guys, try and hold the ball up, the wing backs could get forward, the midfielders could bomb on a little bit. You always had that defensive screen with Conte in there as well to keep it relatively safe, and they had a plan and a method of how to score goals. Whereas what was Oxford's plan today? What was Oxford's plan in that first half? Bang it long? And hopefully someone might be able to like get onto a loose ball or something, because nobody, what was Harris supposed to like get the ball and wriggle round 3 players and bang it in the top corner, because nobody looked like they had a clue what they were doing in that first half. And that is so poor from so much, how we've regressed so much, and all you're going to do is keep blaming injuries and saying, oh, we haven't got this player, we haven't got that player. You've got to find a way to win. You've got to find a way to win that's better than that. We could have gone 2 up top today. You could have played Harris, you could have played O'Donker, and you could have lumped balls up and played maybe McEachran or Smith in a holding role and just seen if you could like drop on a second ball and make something happen. But no, we seem to we feel like we've got to play this methodical passing statue sideways football, until like the half an hour point or until the second half. And in this point, we were bloody out of the game. We couldn't come back against Barnsley and we couldn't come back today. Do you honestly think we're going to do better against Portsmouth on Tuesday? At the moment, it doesn't look likely, and we're just going to sit around again going, we don't have the players. And I'm annoyed and I'm ranting straight after the game. I haven't had a chance to come down. I haven't had a chance to clear my mind, but this side has annoyed me for the last couple of games of just almost feeling sorry for themselves, and then in the last sort of few minutes of a game thinking, you know what, let's try and get a goal at least and get back into it. And it's not working, and we're finding this season is slipping away through our fingers game by game. We're not in the playoff positions now. We're sliding down the league. And it's looked more and more likely that we're not going to be in the playoffs come the end of the season, with sides who are probably going to get stronger in the running. And I'm not saying Buckingham out, and I don't agree with anyone that does say that. He still needs more time. He still needs more chances to turn this around. And he still can turn it around. But we need big improvements, and that does need to start on Tuesday. And if, again, I look back to this transfer window, and I just think, like, what have we actually bought in? Joe Bennett was kind of already here, so it was already kind of pretty much you felt he was going to stay. Kyle Edwards is injured until the end of March, and we bought in Tyler Bure, who seemingly until today, it didn't feel like they thought he was fit enough to play or start games. So, and then we brought in Will Goodwin, who looks promising, but is bloody injured. So how have we actually strengthened this window at all when we knew we needed strengthening at the start of the window, and we're getting to the end of it, and we barely bloody strengthened it? Let's look at the positives, and the main positive for me is the impact Tyler Bure made when he came on. I thought he changed the dynamic of Oxford United's play because he got the ball and he was running to run at people, and he was starting to excite the crowd, and the crowd thought something might happen every time he got the ball. And he is a must-start for me on Tuesday night against Portsmouth because he's the one player that wants to get the ball down and make something happen. I thought Brannigan was very good in the second half, and I thought him playing higher up the pitch, he's starting to pull the strings a bit more. Mark Harris got a goal. Yes, it's one of those ones that hits him on the backside and goes in, but he got a goal, so he doesn't get too much criticism. But everybody else, I thought, pretty poor, pretty off the pace today, and need a big improvement on Tuesday night. But let me know your thoughts, Oxford fans. I really could not even get my head around responding to the comments for the Barnsley game. So if I haven't responded yet to anybody, I might do it tonight. But apologies if you were waiting a response on that one. I just needed to just get away from talking about Oxford for a couple of days. I was that annoyed after the Barnsley game. So it might take me a little while to get to these comments tonight. But please, I do appreciate the comments, and I do like to hear your thoughts from everybody. And please, if you can, give thoughts about what we might do to improve and a little bit of an upside and what went well today and kind of what went bad, because we all know what was bad today. Or if there is something bad that I've forgotten about, please harp on about that as well, because people are worrying. Questions are being asked about the manager, about the teams. Question marks are being asked about things going on behind the scenes with the new stadium as well. And these performances on the pitch do very little to win the fans over. It's another unacceptable performance for Oxford United, from my opinion. But hey, we'll be back to do another review on Tuesday night, because we've only got the league leaders coming to town. What could possibly go wrong?